Right, hello, and once again, this is the other game one of the other games I spend my time wasting. Kerbal Space Program. This is a stock install. It's got Breaking Ground and Making History installed, otherwise it is out of the box. So, I'm going to have a little run. I'm going to go in with a career mode. And that's pretty much what I always call these things. Difficulty options, I tend to put it on hard mode. Basically, I just think it makes it's a bit more of a challenge on it. Science rewards, fun rewards are down a little bit. I do let crew respawn, but after a while, don't need the stock facilities, don't do quick loading. Yeah, that'll do. Flag. Oh, let's find a flag of some description. Frequently just use one of the default ones, to be honest. Yeah, I'm just going to use the default. Yeah, I'm just going to use the default flag. Why not? Haha! Let's go. There's plenty of people play Kerbal Space Program on YouTube. If you're not familiar with it, it's basically a little bit of a space exploration game. Entirely sure what's going on there, but let's have a little look. And that's the wrong building, so we are going to leave that. What we need to do, find ways of getting to space. So this is our space centre. Here's a launch pad. Yes, we're reasonably confident it's a safe distance from everything else. Okay, so in here, gather some science data, launch our first vessel. These are the contracts we have. So in order to get the money and the science thing here, we have to gather some science data. That'll do. And have to launch something. Okay, fair enough. We'll have a go at that. Now I have a a little sort of inbuilt rule. You can gather science from this space centre. My rule is I don't. We're not just roving around outside here. So we need one of those, which is a command pod. Don't need the monopropellant. Take that out, it makes it quite a bit lighter. And change the colours. Let's go for a white one. We have no fuel tanks at the moment. We do have an engine that we can stick underneath. It's been a while since I played these. That's how you do it. I've actually forgotten how you get rid of some of the windows. We do not need full power or full fuel to start with on this. Basically, it's a very overpowered little engine for what we're about to do. It's not particularly powerful for what we're going to do later, but it's quite pokey for now. So we put some little fins on. They will give us some stability, and what we then need is a parachute, because otherwise this is going to be a one-way mission. And in terms of science, all we have to start with is this thing. The mystery goo container. Nobody really knows what's in it. It's a mystery. But we can use that to do some science while we're flying and wherever we land. So, give it a name. Seems vaguely appropriate. I will actually come back and use this again. It'll get modified slightly, but I will actually come back and use this. So, launch. Now this one is not particularly controllable. It has a solid rocket motor, so we can't do a great deal with that. And it has fins that aren't particularly adjustable. But there's a few things I want to do first, which is bring that on. Because when we're flying, I'm going to do a crew report. And I'm going to bring that up as one of the goo containers. And I'm going to bring that up as the other one. So I can do crew reports and so on and so forth when I'm about. Stability assist on, which starts to use electrical power, but I don't care. Little Jebediah Kerman down here, the hero of the piece, looking quite normal. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take off and we're going to head out over the water. So off we go. So I'm going to head off that way, and while we're doing this I'm going to say I want a crew report, which we will keep, and I'll keep one of the bits of goo while we fly. And there we go, over here like so. I want to make sure I'm actually over the water. For whatever reason it's not focusing on the thing I want it to. Yeah, drop the parachute out. Yes, that's something I'm going to need to look up, is why we're not focusing anywhere on the craft we're supposed to. There is a reason for it. It's something I've seen the game do before, and it is incredibly annoying. So anyway, engines cut off. We have a little bit of science, and now we're going to plummet back down to the water. At some point the parachute will open. We will land, we will do a little bit more experimentation, and then we will recover it. And this will have completed. If we look up here, we have completed a contract because we have launched. World's first is just we've broken a speed record. We've been given a little bit of science as a reward for doing that. Same with an altitude record. You tend to work out, I mean, the science points you use for developing things. What I'm going to do is speed up, because otherwise it takes quite a while to drop down. It is quite a pretty game. This is the stock install. You can install all sorts of modifiers, packs to this, which will change a lot of the graphics. I've turned some of the settings up, so there we are. We've crashed down and don't need the flea. So I want the other mystery goo, which will give us some information when we're... it's escaped. Oh, fair enough. So he's going to come out. This is where I start to find the thing itself gets slightly annoying. We're going to grab that data. He is going to do an EVA report. The spacesuit was entirely necessary. Yeah, well, it probably wasn't. And we're then going to get back on board. The key bit here is what we can now do is do another crew report. And that's the mission. So recover. And that's the first flight. It's quite easy when you start off in this to not scale the engine down, and you end up going a lot further and a lot faster. And then you can break things. So there we are, we've gained 21 science from doing that. We've recovered some bits, we've earned a fair bit of money, which is nice. And Jebediah has gained some experience, which means he can do certain other things. So we can now come in here, and we have completed those two missions. We have nothing active, so we now have to look at what else we're going to do. That one's reasonably simple. This is where you have to look at this. So conducting these surveys, this is basically go somewhere and do something. And you think, well, where the hell's that? Well, what you can do, you go into here, which is the tracking station. And if I can persuade this to spin round. We are here. This is the Space Centre. And these here are these other places. So that's the one we've just looked at. Yeah, so that's areas we need to go. That one there says you've got to go above 17. That's quite difficult to do. And the below 18 ones, they're relatively straightforward. They're based, the lowish altitude ones are aircraft missions, and the higher altitude ones are rocket missions. Until you're very good at steering, they're not very good. So, haul a parachute. All we have to do is go between 2,000 and 10,000 metres and have a speed. Well, our little flea thing that we've just built, the lawn dart, is capable of doing that. So we'll take that one. Tester decoupler landed at Kerbin. And these ones are Yeah, these are almost cheaty missions. You can do these on the launch pad. So, I'm not going to take that one just yet. So then we have escape the atmosphere. Well, I don't want to do that just yet. That requires me to actually get into orbit, which I don't want to do. And that requires going for a second stage. Suborbital, but very, very high. Don't want to do that one just yet. So what we're going to do is just take the one we've got, which is haul the parachute. Yeah, before we do this, I'm slowly, yeah, don't save that. I'm slowly remembering how to play this. We're now going to the research and development facility. Basic rocketry. This is going to give a liquid fuel engine and a fuel tank and a bigger solid booster, but it unlocks other things later. And the engineering one, this gives us the decoupler, which we need, a thermometer, which is another science instrument, and some antennas that, frankly, we don't need, not yet. And we still have 11 science left, but all of these require more. So we can't do that yet. So let's come in here. And this is the modification I was going to make. We need to come into coupling. What I'm going to do... Oh, got to buy it. So we'll buy that, which means we can now use it. What this little bit here does, we have to come down here and add another step into there. That'll allow us to throw the bottom bit away. I think, well, why would we want to do that? Well, it just makes certain elements a little bit easier. The thermometer's a good one. You can reuse the thermometer. So I'm going to put a thermometer. They are fairly cheap, however. Let's put 2 of them on. And we're going to do the same thing again. Except this time we're going to fly in a different direction. So I am going to carry more fuel because I want to go a little. I'm only going. I'm going to the grassland. I don't need much. We're going to go. Basically, we went east. I think it was that time. We're now going to go west. So that there. Save that lawn dart. It's a modified version. And let's go fly. So yeah, what I need to do is launch, not leave. That would help. We come in here again. I'm going to bring these up. I'm going to put them this side this time. Reason being, I want to keep that on screen because that tells me what I need to do. We're going to put the ones of these we're going to do in the air over here. And then the ones of these we're going to do on land over here. And we can take a crew report in the air. We're not going to learn that much more because we've already done it. So here we go. Off we go, and I want to go over this way this time. And I say again, we can observe this. We won't learn as much as we did. Temperature we'll get some science for. What I now need to do is, somewhat frustratingly here, so there we are, there's the altitudes and things, so that is where I'm going to want to deal with that bit, and that gets rid of the bottom, and that gets rid of the parachute, and that has secured that contract, which will give us a little bit more of what we're doing. Crew report. So take a crew report now. We're flying over the grasslands. And turn stability off, and the thing will go into the right orientation for landing. And yeah, Jeb can't do anything else as yet. And here we're going to touch down now over the grass. That explosion was the first stage of landing. Gee, I hope it didn't hit anything. So down we're going to come here. Spinning, don't like spinning, so I'm going to tell that to stop. And yeah, again, we're not, for whatever reason, we're focused a lot nearer the camera than we should be. I don't quite know why. Lock onto here. It's something that needs to be sorted out, because in order to land anywhere else you need to be able to see what you're doing. So we'll land there. We will log the temperature again. We'll observe the goo. Yeah, you just look at it. I don't think it's going to do anything there. And we're then going to go out here on an explore. Take the data from the thing. Do an EVA report. And then we're going to get back in, because now we can do another crew report. Yeah, there we are. See, it's not very much. Partially because I've turned the difficulty up, you don't earn as much from these missions. But as you saw, our first flight, we unlocked quite a bit of information. So we can come into here, and now we can unlock something else. General rocketry gives us more powerful things. We've got a second engine, a very powerful for this stage of the game, thumper engine, bigger fuel tank. Stability is useful. Radial decoupler is good because you can add boosters on the side, which is good if you want to go high. The winglet is a slightly better aerodynamic fin. Nose cap, if you're going to have a booster on the side, you need something to stick on the top of it. Whereas down here we have heat shields, which are very useful. A barometer, which is another science instrument, which is basically why I'm going to be buying this one. Radiators don't really need, landing legs don't really need at the moment. Service bay is useful because you can put things in it, and it fits nicely. So we're going to have that. I am going to buy all the bits. In fact, while I've got the money to do it, I'm actually going to buy all the bits from the other pieces. Just makes life simple. And that's what you start off with. Right, so we now need to find another mission. What can we do here? We're definitely not going to orbit yet. Escape the atmosphere is something we can now do, however. Yeah, cannot legally call ourselves a space program without actually going to space. Okay, can do that. Let's go to space. Now, space is interesting. We've actually got something else we can do as well first, or possibly as well. Actually, I will put that back on. What I'm going to do is take those off. How do I delete that? Anyway, it's not on the bin somewhere. You just drag. I think you drag it back over there and it goes. Right, we're going to now need a little bit here, but yes, space is space, fairly obviously. Below space you have the upper atmosphere. We've only been in the lower atmosphere so far, but there is an upper atmosphere as well. All I want now is to put a heat shield on the bottom. This capsule does have a heat shield, but it's not a very good one. So what we want to do is that. All the science bits need to be bolted to the top, because that's the bit we're going to get back. And again, we've got normal atmosphere we've done before, so I want a set of instruments for upper atmosphere and a set of instruments for space. Going to science, we now have a barometer. These are going to go on the top up here somewhere. Put two of them in. I'm going to put these ones in manually because I want them both on the front bit I can see. And that is the upper stage of our little rocket. I'm going to carry some more fuel. I'm going to keep the thrust limiter lower because we're going to be using this one when we get higher up. I don't know exactly how high this is going to go. So what I'm going to do is not do too much with it to start with. Thrust limiter, I'm going to turn the thrust on that engine down a little bit as well, and we are going to put fins. I'm also going to put some fins on the upper stage because I suspect we're going to be quite low in the atmosphere still when we fire that. And what I want over here is that decoupler and that engine to work together. So I'll do that. And that is now ready to try for a little bit of a suborbital hop. I doubt it'll make it to space fully. It might do. We'll see. So again, I'm going to prepare with getting the instrumentation ready. So this is over here, and this is what I'm going to be doing when I get to space. If I get to space. If I don't get to space, it's what I'm going to be doing in the upper atmosphere. And the backup mission plan is we will do more science wherever we land if we don't get science from space. If I do get it from space, I'm quite happy. And the mission up here is just go above 70, so I can cope with that. So mystery goo, I want the thermometer as well, because we need to know how warm it is in space. That's obviously very, very important. Right, stability on. Here goes a rocket which has now decided it's going to look... Yeah, anyway, never mind. I do need to sort that one out. Off we go. Now here, I do want to tip over a little bit, but I don't want to tip over quite so much as we did before. The upper atmosphere, I think, is 25 kilometres and higher. So we shall see how we're going. This is one of the reasons for turning the engine down. The lower atmosphere is quite thick, so you get a lot more drag. Now this is going to go shortly. I'll fire the upper engine. Now later on in the game, you get something that'll tell you what you're doing and where you're going to get to. So we're certainly going to get into the upper atmosphere. I don't know if I'm going to get into space, however. We shall see. So what I'm going to do is upper atmosphere. I'm just going to assume I'm going to only get to the upper atmosphere on this particular flight. So I'm going to log all of this data to grab as much science as I can. On the grounds I can overwrite. The crew report I can overwrite quite easily, and I've got a spare set over here. What we can't do at the moment, however, is get out. So, I think, yeah, I might make it to space on this one. So, I can ditch that because I don't need the bottom bit. Keep pointing in roughly the right direction and we should be right. I do believe I might actually make it... Oh, I'm actually going to make it to space on this one. I'm astounded. So, what I'm going to do is wait for that to happen. We're now in space, so I will overwrite that. We'll see what the goo thinks. Clumped into a sphere and become brittle. Pressure data. Yeah, funnily enough, we're in a vacuum. We're collecting that, and we're still going up. Although we are... this little gizmo at the bottom here is our navigation ball, and what we have here is this yellow symbol here, that's where I'm going, and there's another one here which is that's where I've been. So at this point I want to point backwards because I want to get this heat shield facing down basically, and as this crosses over this line here, this is as high as we're going to get. So this is space near Kerbin, and at the moment we can't disembark, so I can't go out and do a crew report outside. I don't know, when I first started playing this, I was on the Xbox, the console version when it first came out, which wasn't a particularly good experience, shall we say. Worked quite nicely to start with, but yeah, save files corrupted, it wasn't very good. But what it meant was my first trip to the moon, or the Mun as it's known in here, I couldn't get out. So I got all the way there, finally managed to land. It took me a couple of attempts, and then I found, I'm stuck, can't get out. Oh. So yeah, not brilliant, but there we go. Anyway, I'm trying to... If I could focus on the thing... Sure, there used to be an option. I'm not quite sure where the option is for this. There's a way to tell it to focus on the thing you're looking at, and I don't know how. Right, so as soon as we get back below 70, this capsule is stable, dropping down. I've got the control system on still. We're slowly using batteries up, so here we are. We're back in the atmosphere. We are going far, far, far too fast for the parachute. So I'm going to turn that back to surface. So we're going to come down. You see the parachute has now gone orange, saying it's too dangerous to release it. It'll go red shortly. And what we need to do is drop into the thicker part of the atmosphere where hopefully we will slow down enough I can deploy the parachute. Otherwise this is going to be quite a short ride. So let's see. But yes, no, I cut my teeth on this on the console version. The PC I had at the time wasn't capable of playing it. More recently, I mean, I've probably been playing this for a good few years, probably 8-9 years, something like that, when the console version first came out. But yes, been playing for quite a while. I think it's a cracking little game. What I'm going to do is leave stability on. No, I don't know. Unsafe. There's a thing that says you can deploy. See, safe to deploy the parachute now. It went back to normal, so we can do that. Won't open properly. It'll just slow down a little bit. But there we go. Turn that off. And stop it spinning again. Yeah. So I sort of cut my teeth on the console version of this. And I was extremely pleased when I first made it to the MUN. Didn't really have the benefit of the internet as such for tutorials and how to get there, so I sort of blundered my way around and figured it out. I'm not very good at playing this game, shall we say. I enjoy it. I enjoy this game immensely. But yes, you see the Scott Manleys and Matt Lowndes of this world who can just sneeze and knock up a single stage to orbit space plane. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm not very good. So we just have some basic mucking about type rockets. This is the first mission to space. The next big one is actually going to orbit, but I'm probably going to hold off on that for a little while. And that'll probably be the next episode. So we're going to land this one, where we're going to recover this. We're going to see what we can do. So come up here and delete all those messages. Don't need them. Don't want to get out, because I've got all of the information I need from that bit. So let's see what we get. We're up to 61 science, so we've earned a lot of that. The other bit here, this is reputation. The higher your reputation gets, the better the missions you get offered. So now this is all about suborbital hops with tourists. These they don't give you much in the way of science. They're a little bit of a pain. They're a bit of a distraction. They can be quite an easy way to get quite a lot of money, however. The problem you have with it, that if I accept that, I mean, obviously I'm going to get loads more of those missions come through. I've got to find a way of getting people up there. Now, at the moment, I only have a capsule capable of carrying a single person. So what we need to do, if I want to do that, is spend some of my hard-earned money. Ooh, what's that? The Stay Putnik. Ah, yes, you can... you don't have to have crew on these things. You can do a little bit of that. Now, I can... What's this one? So that is... see, that would be useful for taking passengers on a flight. 45 science there. That's going to burn through pretty much all of my science and not let me do much more than I've currently got. I do have liquid engines. Just don't have much of it. The thing is, obviously I need more science at the moment. This one here gives you the Science Junior. This is another experiment pod. It comes with complimentary notepad, recommended ages 4 to 8, small parts maybe. I do like the descriptions they do. That one's a little bit awkward because it's quite fragile. So when you, as you're coming back down in what can loosely refer to as a controlled plummet, you need to be careful with that to make sure you land softly. And the way you land softly, the survivability thing we've actually got better parachutes now. So I have the funding potentially. So yeah, these are. It is tempting to do that. Reaction wheels are useful. The winglets give you a little bit more control as well. Oh, I'm going with that one. The reason for doing that is I can do these suborbital hot passenger messages. Yeah, so there's that. Let's just do one of them and we'll see what we can do. So I'm going to go with the new one. We're going to start with the Onion, which carries just one of that. Now this is obviously based on the Vostok capsules. This is from the Making History expansion. So I need some parachutes. Now on this one I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to put one of those on the top, which is quite useful. Zoom in a little bit here so I can see what I'm doing. I'm then going to put that one. Now that is a drogue parachute. Its purpose is... So that's the one that will trigger first. Oh, looks like we've got a built-in decoupler. Nice. What else have we got on this thing? See, this has got a heat shield built into it as well, which is quite useful. We'll come to crew in a minute because we're taking Jeb up. We're not taking the other one. Will take a passenger. It's actually crew. Have a look at that. So you can come out of it, and we have a pair of tourists. So what I now need to do is it's got a heat shield. It's got a decoupler. So we're basically just going to repeat the mission we've just done, which is one of those with a bunch of fins on. And by fins I mean the aerodynamic things, I don't mean people from Finland. Thrust limiter going to turn down. Basically, again, I don't want this thing going too far. I'm going to turn down a bit more. I don't want it going too fast in the lower atmosphere. Coupling, we'll put one of those on the bottom. We'll stick one of those underneath it again, and we'll stick some more fins on. And again, we want a little bit of science. Now, as I've just said, we're not going to learn a lot on this flight. What I am going to do, however, is land somewhere, and I'm going to try and land somewhere different. So it becomes worthwhile. I want 3, I want 2. How do I rotate those? Not that way, that way. And we'll put them near the top like that. 2 for balance, really, and that, in fact, it just looks slightly better. If you've seen me playing City Skylines, you'll be aware that I don't hugely worry about aesthetics. But sometimes it is rather nice to have at least something. Put one of those on, and then we'll put one of those on. So this is going to be Lawn Dart 2. Save that. And let's see if it flies. I've never actually flown with any of the Making History parts, so we shall have to see what happens here. So stability control on. Cuthbert Kerman, we'll see what she ends up looking like in the back of this and how scared she looks. Where we're going to go, which I can't look at because I'm, for whatever reason, we're going over towards the grasslands, but I'm going to go a little bit further this time because I want to go towards the hills. So we're going to do that. We're going to discover we have no control over this whatsoever, which tells me this thing doesn't have any reaction wheels in it. Ah, yes. Okay, no reaction control authority. This is going to be a problem. So, oh, right. Staging, yes. This is the other thing I've just forgotten to do. Yeah, this mission's not going well, should we say? Yes, I got the staging wrong, so it's activated everything at the same time. Yeah, so there goes the lower bits. Hence that's why the second stage engine didn't fire. Bear in mind I've got no control over which way it was pointing. That's probably for the best. So what I'm going to do now is go back, and I'm just going to stick a little reaction wheel thing on the thing, so I can have at least a modicum of control as to where we're going, and I will sort that staging issue out, and we will try again. This mission's basically just aborted. We've not flown them on a little suborbital hop, which is what they paid for. So see if I can see any more goo from the sea. Yeah, we get a little bit. And maybe the pressure data from the sea, because we didn't do that before. Temperature, we're going to get anything for that? Yeah, we can get a little bit of that, right. Put that back down there, and then recover. Right. Yes. So much for that. Okay, did add some more science, however. So that means I can potentially come into there and gain that one, which I don't need immediately, but I'm going to use. Here we are, the Lawn Dart Mark II. So what I need to do is put that into the stage with that. That becomes its own stage, so that's sorted that particular problem out. That comes down there, and then under control we have that little wheel, which should mean I now have a little bit of control authority on this thing when it takes off. So let's try again. We will get the tourists into space. They can look down like all those people did on the new Shepherd flight the other day, and we'll see how we'll see if we can go and do a little bit better than they did. I want to go over this way. I don't want to tilt over too much. I do want to tilt over a bit more than we did before. Basically, I want to get some hills, and that's where I want to aim for. So there we go. Now we're thrusting a bit more slowly here. We're actually losing speed as a result as we go up. That is slightly concerning. We shall see what happens. Hopefully we will have enough. There, it's starting to accelerate again. Yes, Diet Coke today. So what we've got up here, just try and move over a little bit. Atmospheric density. This, yes, I doubt this one's going to make space either somehow. This is obviously a lot more draggy than the other capsule, so we shall jettison all of that stuff from the back. Drop the drogue chute out. And what I'm hoping... Yeah, we're not going to make it to the... there's some hills. I'd like to have made it to the hills, but we're not going to make it to the hills. Drop out the main chute as well. Then we shall land. This is said this is going to need a significantly more powerful rocket. Sip more of that. So So yes, that will be the next video. Will be passengers into space, and we're just going to see where we land with this one. Coming down, and I will try to get the camera focus thing sorted out for the next one as well. We're coming down over land, which is nice. Again, the first stage is discovering what it's doing. That's the main parachute opening. Yes. And down we come. So yes, a second failed mission. The problem you get with this is eventually I mean, these rockets aren't that expensive to launch, but you fail enough flights, you run out of money. Drop down like that, kidink. And I suspect, yes, crew report from the grasslands. We've already been to the grasslands, so we're not really going to learn anything from that. Might be able to get a little bit more from the goo. A little bit. What you find is some experiments you can run more than once. Some you can't. Oh, it's the parachute. That's why I'm not getting that. Log pressure data. So yes, we didn't do that last time. And give me the thermometer. Yeah, we did the thermometer last time. So we've gained a little bit more science, but we've not really done much else. But yes. I shall leave it at that, I feel, at this particular point in time. We haven't got enough science to do anything else. We've got a little bit of recovering stuff, no experience gained, so yes. Yeah, that's that. I will catch you all in the next one, and we shall see if we can actually get this poor tourist into space. Thank you very much, and goodbye.